you are in the office, you have a check around you. There probably were more men than women where you work. Much worse in government and other public positions. Well, the situation is quite unfair considering that there are more women than men in the world's population and of course in this country. To address this imbalance, the Affirmative Action Bill was set into motion, and it's unfortunately one of the few bills that have been in and out of Parliament. Worry not, there's a fresh zeal to make it work this time, and the woman charged with the responsibility to deliver this is Otiko Afisa Jaba. She's Gender, Children and Social Protection Minister. She herself is a very strong woman who's managed to rise to this level in Ghana's political space. You're welcome, ma'am, to the show.
Thank you very much.
And many thanks for your time for being here. How are you doing?
Oh, by the grace of God, I'm good.
Okay. Yeah. Well, let's just get into business and look at the Affirmative Action Bill.
Yeah.
This morning, you've spoken about reviewing the bill before it goes back to Parliament. Why do we need to review it?
Thank you so much. Ghana has agreed to be in a democratic country, and we have passed various laws to ensure that we correct the imbalances. And the Constitution itself talks about equity and equal opportunities and equal rights. Unfortunately, in spite of Beijing and all the various policies and laws, international ones that we are part of, like the CEDAW and what have you, women are still left behind. So the Affirmative Action Bill that was started, not now, in 1998 it was started. And as you said, it's come in and out. But a lot of work has been done on it.
Okay.
And I would like to use this opportunity to thank the women like Madam Nana
Rollins.
She was today, actually, we are having our stakeholders review meeting at Fiesta Royal. It's a 2-day program. I had to leave them to be here.
Okay.
She is one of the women, as well as the first 10 women that President Kwame Nkrumah brought in 1960 through a form of affirmative action.
Okay.
And then we have a committee, including Madame Joanna Opari, Hilary Bedema, and then Sheila. They are all part of the committee. I was part of the working group as well when I was a women's organizer.
Okay.
Under Madame Gladys Asma, we also revisited it. They started working on the bill again. And then Madam Haji Alima came and continued, as well as Juliana Azuma, and then Ikuya Danswa, and then Nana Oyelita also
and then
worked on it. And then it's my turn.
Looks like a lot of things have gone on in there.
Yes, what it is there was a roundtable discussion, a series of them in 2011. I'm bringing you up to speed.
Okay.
It's a journey of what has taken place about Ghana and our democracy, including women. And so a draft bill was actually drafted. But there was an election, and anytime there's an election, or if you don't get it into Parliament passed, then it elapses. And so we have to go back and then look at it and see. It's an opportunity for us. It's a historic opportunity for us to look at it again.
Okay.
Because in the MPP manifesto, we did state that if by the grace of God we are elected, we will get it through Parliament.
Okay. Let me just briefly interrupt you there. I would like for you to give us the highlight of this bill. As you know, you said it's a journey. So it's gone through the mill and it's gotten here. I'd like for you to give us highlights of the bill and what it is exactly we are reviewing. But before we do that, I'd like for you to, for viewers to watch you this morning, speak at the program. And then when we come back, we'll look at the highlights of the bill and why it is necessary for that review that the ministry is calling for. Watch this.
And the concerted effort that we all are going to bring to bear today will ensure that forever Ghana will change its way of addressing the issues of gender. Our efforts must encourage and discourage the imbalances. We must ensure that no woman is behind. We want to see women side by side, not men in front and not women behind, but side by side. Together, we shall develop Mother Ghana. Right Honorable Speaker, distinguished guests, Gender equality, equity, and the empowerment of women and girls continuously faces all these myriad of challenges. And some of them include inequality in access to social protection by the marginalized, vulnerable, and the poor. Inequalities in the burden of extreme poverty, education, skill training, and excess maternal mortality. Unequal access to social economic power and justice, including lack of respect for and inadequate protection and promotion of human rights of women. Inequalities between women and men in the sharing of power and decision-making at all levels and in dealing with all kinds of conflicts and insecurities and threats on women. That is why somebody will think that because he is a man, he must decide how we develop the processes of re-engaging school-feeding caterers, because Ghana is a man's world. We must change all these perceptions of women. Inequality in macroeconomic realities, trade, industry structures and productive resources, stereotyping and persistent discrimination against women that manifest in negative gender relations and value for gender roles and responsibilities, with severe implication for maternal health and mortality. To ensure the sustainable implementation of the provisions in the policy, the ministry, with key stakeholders and development partners, developed the Affirmative Action Bill to be passed into law.
The minister there speaking earlier today. So we're back, and you've in that speech you highlight discrimination, stereotyping, and a lot of the things that the ministry and I believe every reasonable person believes should be done away with if we want progress as a country. So what it makes all of us curious as to exactly what it is that we're changing. What is it that is making this review necessary if we're to go ahead with this affirmative?
The purpose of the bill itself is to enact a law that will redress the gender imbalances in the area of social, economic, political, and educational life in Ghana in accordance with Article 17 in our Constitution.
Right.
So we have to ensure that what we are doing today meets this, and that today's woman, today's child, today's vulnerable, all are at a point where the law is meeting our needs.
Okay.
And when you have 52% of your population being women who are not well represented, for instance, in Parliament, we only have now, currently, we have about 34 people, women in Parliament out of the 275. When you look at globally, Rwanda is number 1, and Ghana, out of 193 countries, is at 150.
Okay.
And then we say that we are the beacon of democracy. But democracy is about numbers. The rule of law is about equity.
So are these the areas that the
gender
review
balance
is targeted?
Yes, and that is what the review is looking at.
Okay.
Looking at the existing policies on affirmative action, the draft bill that has already taken place. As I told you, 25 members have been working on it right from Mrs. Asmer's time, and now we have a draft bill, but it was not passed, and so we have to take it back. So there is a memorandum that has also been written, and we will look at that as well.
Okay.
Because that's where it starts from. The
So
memorandum, for example, left out the political side of it. It talks about redressing social, economic, and educational imbalances.
Okay.
So we have to add the political, because a lot of the activities take place in the political divide. It is the political party that becomes the government.
Okay.
And so the political parties have a lot of a big role to play. They're also in Parliament, and that is where we take it to pass.
So in the review, you're engaging...
yes, we had somebody from the Council of State, the Togbe Nyonyo was there to talk to us even about the House of Chiefs. A House of Chiefs at the national and the regional level doesn't have a place for women. So what do we do about it? So he came to talk to us about that.
Is that a part of the political inputs that you're adding in the bill?
That has to do with our traditional issues.
Okay. So let's finish with the political bit.
So with the political bit as well, It started with the Representation of the People's Act of 1960 under President Kwame, the Prime Minister then, who brought in a form of affirmative action that brought in 10 women into our political divide.
So what are we adding?
So now what we are saying is that we could look at a possibility of the quota system, or if parties are sending their lists or their nomination, they are filing to the EC, they should let us know that they have a minimum of 40% being women.
That has always been there, hasn't it?
It's not being enforced. So this affirmative action bill is going to look at enforcement as well. Sanctions and punitive measures and rewards, and asking us to look again at the system. Can political parties give quotas? Or can the EC say that if you don't have a certain percentage, a minimum of 40%,
the NPP tried something like that.
Yes,
and it didn't work.
It didn't work because, yes, the men feel that they are more dominant and they should be the voices. But when you have a majority being women, and the thing is, it's a woman who gives birth to all of us, whether you're a woman or a man. And so the progress of the home is handled by the woman. Unfortunately, children and the society don't see the woman as a shareholder. They don't see her as a helper.
So those are the things that this bill wants to change.
As perhaps a servant.
Those are the things that this bill wants to change.
That is what we want to change. And it will go along with education. If you don't do that, you don't get it right. And with lobbying. And we have the Right Honorable Speaker, Honorable Michael Quay, who is a he for she champion. He's an excellent ambassador. He was our chairman for the review committee. He has actually written a paper, and I'll be giving you a copy of it, about what he thinks we should do as a nation, and the fact that he says it, that Ghana has been running like a two-legged man who has tied one leg up. That one leg is the women. And it's very difficult to run without your, even when you have two legs, how is it? And then you have just one leg. So we need to untie the leg with affirmative action. We must affirm the rights of women. It must be a drastic move. You cannot do it with compromise. You cannot do it thinking that you're doing women a favor, because everybody has a mother. Or a sister or a wife.
So this bill is looking to, make changes to the bit that brings in the political side, to look at the social side, just as you mentioned,
the economic side as well.
But when?
The timelines are going to be determined tomorrow. We're going to draw the roadmap, because, as I said, there's been a new government. You have to revisit it again.
Why
and so? That is the law. That's how it works.
To fall in line with your manifesto.
Yes, of course. And also there is the fact that perhaps there are new ideas that we would want to add to it, or there are things we might want to take away from it. And so this gives us the opportunity to also bring people on board. There are various CSOs who are there, various technocrats in the area of gender. We have the chiefs as well who were there, the speaker, people who worked with it like Madam Nana Kunedu-Ajimai Rollins, and the political parties and so forth. Things change, and then as you change, 60 years on, things will not be the same as they were last year. So we are going to review it. The committee will look at it, tighten up the things that are being said today, because they've already gone around the whole country. We're not going to do that again. And then we take it, the Attorney General and the technocrats will look at it and factor in all the things that we say in this two-day meeting. And then we take it back to Cabinet. Then when we have the approval, then we go to Parliament. And we hope to do all that this year.
All that this year. So let's say the affirmative action bill will be passed this year. People will say
whether it will be passed is the lobbying in Parliament. And how our men and all of us, the media, we work with them to agree that, look, affirmative action now.
So as we wrap on the conversation, or we wrap up on the conversation of affirmative bill, what is the target you're giving yourself as Minister for Gender on this bill? You said that it depends on the lobbying, etc. What is the target you're giving yourself? Is this something that you want to do?
I want to see that affirmative action is passed now, even if it's passed today. I would love it, because you can't hold women back. Women can't wait. Ghana can't wait. It's because we have more women, but our voices are not well represented. Women love to talk about peace building, water, sanitation, education, health. These are the things that matter more to women.
Okay.
We are carers. We speak from the heart. We're intuitive. I keep saying that if Eve hadn't asked Adam to eat the apple, we'll all be walking around naked. So women have a certain
Some
special
people actually like that,
quality.
but anyway.
No, we need to wear clothes. And so it's important for the society to embrace women. We add value to what we do.
True.
And it's important that if we say that we are the beacon of democracy, we don't just talk the walk. We must walk the talk. Involve women. Women are crying to be heard. In the rural villages, you see a 16-year-old involved in a meeting, taking a decision about her mother. But she taught that child how to walk, how to talk,
Will
how
this
to be
bill,
a matured person.
Will this bill, when passed, impose any obligation on political parties to implement the quota system that the NPP tried but failed? Will it do that?
Yes.
It will.
It's always, you learn from failure. Failure doesn't mean that that's the end of the world. It tells you that you have to look at it again and represent it.
So it will.
So yes, we are going to look at it. And I said to you that there will be sanctions and there will be rewards.
Yeah.
Because if you have a right and people think that they're doing you a favor, then it's no right.
Okay.
Or if they say that there is voluntary compliance, there's nothing like voluntary compliance. Then there is no compliance.
Okay.
Because it is the right. It is not a favor that Ghanaians do for women.
Okay.
It is about the progress of a people. And we need to talk about the numbers. If women are more than men, then our voices should be heard. We must, and we are looking at even 50-50.
Okay.
In all areas of public,
Sounds
even
quite
private.
ambitious, but
Why not?
impressive.
You are there, your daughter is there,
Yeah.
and all the daughters of Mother Ghana, and the sons and the vulnerable people.
All
It's
right.
not about just women, it's gender equity.
Okay. Now let's look at, whilst we're looking at legislation that protect our women, that make sure that our women's voices are heard. We know that we have a huge issue with teenage pregnancy, with midwives. Let's try and link the two. What is the ministry doing about promoting the work of midwives and making sure that they are well resourced to carry out what they do?
Okay.
And then the increase or the rise in teenage pregnancy. How are you dealing with that?
Thank you very much. The Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection has the mandate to lead and to coordinate all issues and aspects concerning social protection in Ghana.
Right.
It went to Parliament for that because it used to be the NCWAD, and then it became the Ministry of Women and Children, and then it metamorphosed into the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection by law. And so in areas of social protection like midwives, I was privileged to be sent by the First Lady, and I say hello to her. She's a very special woman.
And we know they watch the show as well.
Yes.
So she'll hear.
She's very concerned about women's emancipation and all the things that affect protection in this country. So she was engaged in another equally important activity of the nation. So she sent me to Tamale on Friday. It was indeed the International Day of Midwives. The world celebrates midwives because midwives are the ones who bring us to life.
Right.
And so it's a partnership for life. And I met these very brilliant, exceptional women. Some of them are studying to be midwives. Some of them have completed. Various others were working or are working as midwives or are former midwives and so forth. And we celebrated them. They were given awards. 10 people were awarded with helping to give birth, childbirth kits from the UNFPA. It was really exceptional to see these women, some of them actually making a decision to work in very rural Ghana. And so we want to celebrate them. And I'm very, very happy because when I went there, they organized a drama that shows a good midwife and a bad midwife. You know, some midwives don't have the time, they are impatient, and how it can cause you to either lose life when you have your baby, to be injured when you have a baby, or to have an ailment when you have a baby. These are the risks that women face every day when they are having a baby. You can die.
So the First Lady sent you to the northern, to
Tamale.
3 regions in the north, let's say.
Not
let's
all
put
the
it.
3 regions.
No,
As
yeah,
a minister and the new minister at that, I started my familiarization tour, working visit of the 10 regions. We started from the Upper West, and then came back to Accra, and then went to the Upper East, and because I was in the Upper East, she asked me to represent her at this program.
Okay.
From there, we'll be going to the Volta region, go to the northern region, the Branhafo, East Ashanti, Eastern region, Central,
So it's more
Western.
like a nationwide,
It's a nationwide
tour,
program.
and the
Yes.
First Lady sent you on this tour.
No, not on the tour, but just for the International Day of Midwives. As for
In
the
the
tour,
upper-
it's my responsibility as a new minister to
Okay.
go on a working visit to familiarize myself on the issues. And we did notice that child prostitution is a big case in the Upper West and the Upper East. We met with the traditional chiefs and queen mothers, and it's a priority for them because children are becoming breadwinners through child prostitution. They're becoming breadwinners through child labor. They're becoming breadwinners through early marriages and forced marriages, through kayaye. These are things that Ghana, 60 years on, we need to sit as a nation and talk about them and see how we can eradicate them.
So these are the highlights of, let's say, these are the highlights of your trip to the northern parts of Ghana.
Yes.
I know that you don't want to comment on this, but I know also that there were a few disruptions to some of your meetings up there.
Oh, there was just one.
Okay, right. So there was one disruption to your meeting up there, and these were young ladies who were meeting about, you know, the risks in childbearing, like you're explaining right now.
The midwives.
The midwives. So were they different from the meetings that were disrupted?
Oh, yes. I told you I was sent by the First Lady. And so I informed the regional minister that the First Lady had asked me to attend this program whilst I was in the Upper East. And we had the program. And even the nurses and doctors, we have a fistula center in Tamale at the Central Hospital. And the Ministry of Gender has been helping with the repairs. I think we've done about 135 repairs as at last year. So we went to that place and it was very sad. We met a young girl of 30 years old, her firstborn, and she has fistula. Fistula is when a woman urinates and defecates at the same time through her private parts. And it is really unbearable. It makes you smell, you become, there's a stigmatization involved, and some men leave their wives. Some people commit suicide.
So what exactly were you supposed to do with this at this meeting, to talk to them?
Yes, so after the midwives launch, and the municipal chief executive was there, the deputy minister for health was also there because it's a health thing. After the fistula program, we made an appeal for people to, if anybody has fistula, and I'd like to use this platform as well, please, it's not a disgrace. It's not a dishonor. It's an illness through prolonged child labor and things like that. So please, do well to contact the health authorities. You can write to the Ministry of Health. Some women have it for 10 years and they are ashamed to let people know. So we would want you, the media, to help us so that we have a program to repair them. And on the 19th of May, I think it's 19th or 17th of May, in Tamale, they're going to do repairs for 20 women.
Okay.
There's another Mercy Hospital in Mankasim that does the same. So after that, being there, I decided that I would visit the women organizers as a women organizer. And I mean, if you are in a place like Tamale and you have some journalists there or people from your office, I don't think you like to meet them. And that's what I did. And I had already informed the regional minister that I was going to be there. And the deputy regional women's organizer was also informed. And so the women came. But the chairman, who was, we couldn't reach him, and he had been in Accra, felt that it was an illegal meeting. How can a visit to your own family be illegal? And he had issues thinking that he had to appoint the school feeding caterers. But that's not part of his mandate. I think that we need to respect women in this country. And 60 years on, we are talking about affirmative action. It's important that we respect women. I might not be your mother or your wife or your sister, but I am a woman.
Right.
And the same respect that you will want somebody to accord to your female person in your life, you should accord to me.
Do you feel disrespected by him?
Yes, I felt disrespected. I feel it on behalf of all women, because I know that if it was a man, he wouldn't do that, because other ministers have appointed. I mean, is he going to appoint the health officers and doctors at Ministry of Health? Is he going to appoint soldiers for the Ministry of Defense or police for the Ministry of Police?
You think he did that because you're a woman?
Yes, I think so. That it's because I am a woman. He thinks that he can bully me and he can get away with it. But people of Ghana, what is not right is not right. I don't want this to be an issue, but it's important that we respect ourselves. It doesn't matter whether it's a child. And when you look in the Constitution and the affirmative action, it says that gender discrimination should not be because of any ethnicity, because of your birth or geography,
He accuses
or whether
you,
you
by
have
the way,
wealth or not.
He then accuses you of trying to reject the president's appointee, and
But
he felt disrespected. That's what he said.
I am the Minister for Gender.
Right.
I wrote to the President that our manifesto, the MPP, has a provision, a promise that 30% minimum of women in public appointments should be given to women. I would be the last person to be saying that a woman who has been appointed. And indeed, when I met the women, I didn't go to Savlugu, I was in Tamale. I spoke to the women that, look, I was appointed as a minister. It's possible that some people were not happy and some people were happy. And so whoever the president appoints, especially the women, because out of the 212, it's only 36 who are women. So we haven't even hit 20%. So let us respect the president by confirming and supporting all the candidates who have been, all the nominees who have been appointed. And they were very happy about that. And so I don't understand why he would make those tales and all the other things that came with it. It was totally out of order. There was no need for him to do that. I apologize to my party members and the people of Ghana for what happened. I'm the mother. They say that in tree, so banigu sokra ohohoro. And so I want to use this opportunity to apologize to all Ghanaians about what happened. But it is a lesson for us to understand that we need to respect each other and we need to respect women. If there is a mandate for a minister of gender to engage staff, it's not for any man to come and say that because you are a man, because you are a chairman, you have to do the engagement. There's something called lobbying. If I wanted my brother or a friend to work here, I would come and lobby the staff or whoever engages people and say, oh, please, I have a brother who has this.
So if you had
so
lobbied rather than, bump into your meeting, that would have been okay.
It's important that we understand that.
Understand
it's never okay to bully or force anybody.
So I'm happy that I've been able to provide this platform for.
Oh, I don't need this platform.
No, at least it's okay that you've mentioned the apology, but then your party has said that they're looking into it, and there were even talks that the two of you have been invited to the Flagstaff House.
Oh no, I myself went to see the president yesterday, and I spoke to him about it, and I was supposed to, where I used to work as a consultant, Plan International, the country director wanted to meet with the president, so I used the opportunity to explain to him about what had happened, and I apologized to him as well that it was not in the best interest of Ghana.
So he was unhappy?
That. But wouldn't you be unhappy? Why, if your minister is being disrespected, would you be happy? If your family members don't seem to understand each other, would you be happy? He's the president. He's the father of the nation.
Did he chastise you? Did he chastise you
happy
for the goats and the cow thing? One of the things that have been trending on social media.
Why would you want to visit that area? It's unnecessary.
Okay,
look,
that's fine.
We all know that this is wrong and this is right. It is wrong for anybody to disrespect another person. It doesn't matter who that person is. Let's treat each other with respect, and then we'll avoid some of these unpleasant issues.
So did he sort out the issues between you and him?
Oh, with the president. Mr. President is a very pepe man. He says it as it is, he tells you as it is, and he always invites you to share your opinion with him. I think that some people also think that perhaps this is their opportunity to take the school feeding away from the Ministry of Gender. But the school feeding is at the Ministry of Gender by legislation. It's not about Otiko.
So in this case, the president will support you then because you are within your mandate. Does he support you?
I don't want to go whether he supported A or B. This is a family matter, and what has been done has been done.
Right.
We need to move on as a people. You learn from things that happen to you, and that is the important thing, that I feel that we should not disrespect each other. It doesn't matter who you are. We should not disrespect each other. We should give each other space, especially women. We are the helpers of the home. We create and hold on to the community. And so if we are disrespected, then things will fall apart.
Okay.
And perhaps that is why Ghana is where it is. We need to respect women and understand that women are equal partners in the development agenda.
So as
for that one, I will fight for that till the day I die.
Wow.
I feel that I am a pioneer. I'm in a position to fight for the rights of people. If I can't fight for my own rights, I have no business being the minister for gender.
So you're going to fight.
It's not about me. It's about all the children and the women and the vulnerable who are being discriminated and being rejected by society. Okay. And it's about you, this young lady before me, and your future. You might be the next Minister for Gender or Foreign Affairs or what have you. In the Ministry of Gender,
now we're moving
we
on,
don't build roads.
Okay.
We don't build schools. All we do is talk. We build people.
So as it stands now, I mean, the appointment, everything, I mean, has it been resolved? Is everything okay?
Oh, the mandate of the Ministry of Gender is to handle school feeding as well as leave, as well as social protection. We have about 11 directorates under the Ministry of Gender, including children, including the gender department, the social human trafficking, social welfare. It's huge. And so it's a collective responsibility from all of us to ensure that we get it right. Tomorrow it could be you. And people must respect whoever is in that position, whether it's a woman or a man, whether the person is disabled or not.
I see the passion with which you speak about women and the respect.
But we've been discriminated against for so long. It's important.
So I can understand, and I'm a woman, so you can bet that I'm on the same page with you.
Yeah.
If Bugri Nabu should come by you right now, would you say you'd have resolve the issues between the two of you?
It's resolved. What is there to say?
Okay.
The point is that
will you drink tea? Well, I mean, will you drink tea or eat wache with
Why?
him?
We have differences. You have differences with anybody, but you can go back and come together and move on.
Okay.
Yes, it's not a problem at all. I had my differences with the President John Mahama. We were at the Gonjaland Youth. We were talking about unity and peace of Gonjaland. He's
when
my
was
brother.
this?
This was during the Easter. I went to sit by him. I greeted him. We had a laugh, and he said, "Hey, Otiko, it's taking the Gonjaland youth meeting to bring us." And I said, "But of course, it's the best place because we're talking about unity and peace." And we had a laugh. And then some people called to insult me for that. So it doesn't matter what you do, somebody will criticize you, but you must focus. And you must understand that you're not here at this time in history for yourself. It's about Mother Ghana and all the voiceless women and the children and the vulnerable who don't have the opportunity. And that is why I am apologizing, because I don't want their message to be lost. And it's important that people stop focusing on me. I am one of 22.
It seems that people like and follow the things that you say a lot.
Yes.
Have you heard people say you should perhaps tone down because they feel like you're saying they follow your
what is toning down? Women cannot wait to be respected. When you are disrespected for your lifetime, what is toning down?
Maybe say things differently?
Oh, of course. I am saying it differently today, aren't I? It's when people throw stones at you, they disrespect you, they infringe on your rights. They don't even want you to say Ajay. They want to step on you, but you should be tolerant of them. I'm ready to be tolerant of anybody, but don't disrespect my rights, because I am the leader of all those vulnerable people whose rights are being disrespected. So if you disrespect my rights and I allow you, who is going to speak for the disabled and those vulnerable people? You must be able to take the tough things. For me, this is good, because sometimes you need all this that has gone on. Because we have to learn that it is not okay to disrespect anybody, whether it's a woman or a man, and that women cannot wait.
You made
women
a statement.
Cannot tone down.
You feel that this is a statement that has to be made.
This, we're talking about affirmative action. We're going to celebrate Mother's Day on the 14th. It's just this weekend. Mothers of Ghana must be bold. They must be fearless. We are bringing up future generations of children. You cannot be afraid of criticism. And when there are areas that you feel that perhaps you should apologize for, it's okay to apologize, which is what I have done. Being a mother means that you are everything at any time. And when you have to be firm, you have to be fair.
Is it difficult?
And when you have to be fair, you have to be fair.
This will probably be my final question. Is it possible being a national women's organizer for a political party and being the Minister for Gender, Social Protection?
It's not difficult, but
how are you doing
there isn't enough time. So I've written to the party that my deputy, Dinah Karikari, should act as a women's organizer because the ministry is huge. The issues, child prostitution, child trafficking, hemophilia. I met some children with hemophilia. I would be talking to you about that another time. But the other thing that I want to talk about before we leave is about the early socialization. How do we teach our children to respect each other, that the roles of boys and girls are equal, and the house chores are not the domain of the girl child, and that women and girls are not servants. It's love. We are equal stakeholders, and we share the household chores, so that as we grow up, children, men and women, fathers and mothers, must ensure that we inculcate in our young boys and girls that boy, you can fetch water, girl, you can fetch water.
Okay.
A girl can use ICT, she can become a doctor, she can be a teacher, she can be whatever she wants to be, and the boy can be. Girls should not be stopped from going to school and getting married before they're 18 because there's free SHS now. And girls and boys can learn how to cook so that when they become like you, and you come back from work, it's not daddy in the sitting room reading newspapers and watching television.
And mommy who is tired
and having to cook. And that is a partnership, and we are working together to develop Mother Ghana.
But there's another issue also about trafficked girls, those who go to the Gulf states. What are you doing? What is the ministry doing about that?
We have a whole secretariat for human trafficking, and we've been able to speed up things with the Ministry of Interior. We've been able to get, how do you call it, Société Générale to fund the wall. The wall was broken and cattle and children could escape. So we went together with Honorable Ambrose to visit the shelter at Medina. And the wall has been done, water has been provided for them. We've been able to get a shelter for the older people as well, and giving some vehicles to the police human trafficking, anti-human trafficking unit. We finished the National Plan of Action. We're going to launch it soon. And so we are working hard to ensure that we are able to track these young girls. The one thing we want to do is to have a job creation center for them, so that the unscrupulous people who take them away and abuse them, we get rid of them. You have to have a license to be able to, or an accreditation, to be able to take people out. But some people are taking advantage of it because we haven't finished all these activities. And so as a new minister of social protection, we are to lead the process. Already we had a meeting, our staff as well as national security and interior and foreign affairs have come together to look at what the way forward, because it's becoming a big problem. At the airport, we have security agencies that we have trained, 30 of them by the ministry, to identify them. I understand that loads of young girls are carted out through these airplanes and things. And so the countries involved, like the Libya and the Kuwait and have you, we are going to have a discussion with them through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, so that we find a way of making it a job center, so that when they have a job, so that when they are going out, they come and register with us. We know that Otiko is in Kuwait, and when she goes there, the embassy knows that Otiko is in Kuwait. She's working at house number so and so, and we can track them. If she has a problem, she knows that she can go to the embassy of Ghana. Ghana embassy, wherever is Ghana. So please don't allow yourself to be trafficked. If it happens and you are lost, please go to the embassy, because these are Ghanaian children, especially the young girls.
Well, Joyce also did a documentary on children who are sold into slavery on the Volta Lake. I don't know if it came to your attention.
Yes, we were part of that program.
Those children, we understand, are still there. What is the ministry doing?
What it is that we have to get them into shelters. And there are NGOs who work in that area. The International Justice Mission was part of the program, as well as the police anti-human trafficking. So there were 31 children, and about 11 people were remanded that they are preparing for prosecution with the Ministry of Gender. We will first of all, you have to put them at the center. That's what the rescue demands, and then take them through the psychological problems that they have and all that. Find out where they're coming from. Can we reintegrate them back into their societies? So these are things that we are talking about with the children. And we found out that some street children were also rescued by the police, and they were kept at the shelter. The shelter is not for street children, it's for children who have been trafficked. So because we didn't have a wall, we couldn't keep them there because they could run away. So now that that is done, we will bring them back there, and then we have a staff there who will take care of them. This is a joint responsibility of all Ghanaians. It's not possible for just the Ministry of Gender to do it. So I want to use your platform as well to tell parents that, look, the Asempa budget is here. The Asempa budget is here. And the message is that we are changing for jobs. So you might not get it now, but there's no pride in selling your child off, trafficking your child off to the Volta Lake. Their fingers might get chopped off, they could drown, but they could be like you, somebody who would come and give them more. They give them a pittance like 20,000 or
20,000, that's a lot.
Yes,
they
or
give
less.
Them 700, sometimes
700
some of them said
and what
500
have you.
or so.
Yes, so please, and free education too is available. So you don't need to traffic your child.
Up until September.
But for the little ones, you can start school from now to JHS for free.
Okay.
So you don't need to traffic your child. And we have the LEAP to support the very vulnerable poor people. We have the LEAP to support them. We also have a cash plus where, as the president said, we need to exit those who are productive on the leave. We put them on the cash plus. We give them a startup. We have a program that we move street children off the streets back to school. And we are also going to organize even having like a place where, when working mothers like you, after school service, well, okay, if you're not a mother, for mothers, this is good news for mothers that we want to embark on this program whereby we offer after school services as part of the social protection, so that when school closes about 3 p.m., there's a place for you to send your children, and the social workers will take care of them. And when you close from work, you go and pick them up for a small fee. And so there's so many things. We want to do the single entry call center whereby people can call and have rapid response about issues. And so please, every Ghanaian is needed. You don't need to think that the whole world is crashing in on you. As for problems, there are initiatives, windows of opportunity for us to do things differently. Nothing is perfect, and it's not an easy ride. And I like to use this opportunity to talk to my MPP members that opposition is different from being in government. Now that we are in government, we have to do things differently. We have to find the solutions. We have to work together as a team. We have to respect each other.
Talking about working mothers,
are we
going to increase the maternity leave days for mothers?
Not for me to decide. With me, I tell you, it's talk.
Like to do?
What I would like to see is having creches in every office and ensuring that every woman who goes to work knows that her child can be in a creche near her, and that her promotion is not derailed because she has to sit at home. But the child can be near her, and there's somebody there who is taking care of the kids.
But do you think it's enough of the time right now that mothers
it's
have
not for me to say. It's
no, I mean, do you
debate.
feel as a woman that it's enough?
I've had 4 children, and I took 3 months. You have 3 months leave. And when I realized that I couldn't cope with my children because they would fall ill and all sorts of things, I used to work at the bank. So I took 10 years out of my life.
10 years?
Yes, it was a choice.
Not
and I'm so glad that I did, because then you are there for the children. Because what is parenting about? You're fighting for your dreams and
but you need to
pursuing
work.
things.
You need to work and get some money.
No child asks to be born. And so if you give birth to them, otherwise it's the computer and the television and the WhatsApp that's bringing up your children. It's a topic for another day. As Mother's Day is coming, I really want mothers and fathers to focus on their responsibility as parents.
Okay.
No child has to be born. We must end child prostitution, end child marriage, end kaya, leave nobody out, and ensure that Ghana is better off from all of us, from our interventions.
Feels like a gender conference for me already, and I believe that you've had your own share. I don't know, if you've not enjoyed this conversation, I don't think you enjoy the gender minister anymore, because this is, I'll say, you know, a very interesting conversation that we've had. If you were to have one single word for the man who you say has disrespected you, what would you tell him?
Love. Show some love, Mr. Bugri, and respect. Have a wonderful Mother's Day. Everybody in Ghana, have a wonderful Mother's Day.
Okay.
It is the mother that gives birth to our sons and daughters. I am also somebody's mother, and I need to be respected. I also need some love. He is also somebody's father. He also needs some love and some respect. So let's love each other and respect each other, and Ghana will be better.
Okay, so you have that here on the show. This is The Pause. Love conquers all, they say, doesn't it? I've been having a very interesting conversation with Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection, Madam Otiko. Afisa Otiko Jaba.
That's it. Otiko Afisa Jaba. You must
Otiko.
say it all together. Don't leave any out.
Otiko
Afisa
Jaba. Okay, and she says the young ladies like to call her Swagger Mama. They still call you Swagger Mama?
Too much swag. I want to use the opportunity to tell Ghanaians that there is somebody who has developed a Facebook page using my name, the same Otiko Afisa Jaba. But his DP is, he keeps changing it. He had me with my picture at the vetting. Now he has Nanado and Dr. Baumia. And he talks to people on the messenger as if it's me. He's called Mr. Asante. Another one uses a name by Samia Bwaji, and they tell people that I want to give them leap or motorbikes or school feeding or whatever, and that they should pay some money into a mobile money account. But the government agencies don't use mobile money. So please, people of Ghana, don't be deceived by this person. It's a fraud. It's not right. I'm not the one. And so I have put a disclaimer in the papers and on the page, and I'm going to close my page because of this man.
Have you written to Facebook?
Yes, I have written to them severally, and still they are not able to stop him. So please, anybody you are chatting to on Facebook that says the person is Otiko Afisa Jaba, it's not me. From today, I am shutting down my Facebook account.
And then you reopen?
I'm not going to open it again because it's not right for people to use me to prey on poor people. Because if I do reopen it, he's going to do it again. And maybe there's a group of people doing it. There are other ways of talking. We were talking to each other before Facebook.
But social media is the thing now.
Social media is the thing, but when people abuse it and deprived poor people of their little income, you have to take a measure like that. We'll see. Maybe with time, when it stops, I might go back. But for now, all my friends on social, on Facebook, this is
Swagger Mama is off Facebook for a while. Did they still talk about your hair though?
I don't think my hair affects the price of kenke, so there's no need to talk about it. Yes, so we need to focus on the issues, not about me. I only am there as a tool, as a vessel for the development and for the voices of the voiceless.
To be heard.
So it's not about Otiko. Tomorrow it could be you or whoever else is listening.
I like nice hair. I like nice hair.
Yeah, well, yours is just as wicked.
Okay.
But a woman can be whoever you are and what you want. If you want to put on a headgear too, that's fine. But it shouldn't be an issue.
All right.
Because nobody talks about a man's dressing. Let's focus
if you
on
leave the two of us, I think we can go on and on and on until the day probably ends. But we'll be having this conversation with Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection about all of the things that they're doing about the affirmative action bill, about what they're doing for midwives and how they're doing with trafficking, etc. All of that plus the Bugri Naba, we did talk about it. If you missed it, you can catch it online. We'll bring you excerpts of it as well in the subsequent bulletins. Right now, though, more than 50 people, including fire service personnel in Secondary in the Western region, are receiving medical attention for injuries that they sustained after a gas explosion earlier this morning. It is unclear what caused the explosion at the Gonko Chinese company located in the Secondary Takrady Road earlier today, but many of the victims remain at the Efian Kwanta Hospital for treatments. Let's get on the lines for more details from Ina. Hello, Ina. Ina, if you can hear me, we know the people are responding to treatments, but is there any updates? Has anything changed?
Okay, the Western Regional Public Relations Officer for the Ghana Fire Service, Action Divisional Officer 1, Emmanuel Boni, this afternoon confirmed that they are making arrangements, that is the regional commander and the military commander are making arrangements to fly one of their men who was seriously injured to Accra for treatment. I understand that they were part of the first fire servicemen who were dispatched to go to the scene around 7:30 a.m. And they had serious injuries.
Right. How bad is the situation with the firefighter? I mean, is this you said that he's in critical condition, but can you explain to us exactly what happened to him?
They got really burned on their hands, their back. It's really serious. You can just imagine. It's really serious. They have deep wounds. They went there at first sight. So with the heat and the burns and all that, they experienced it. They were the first batch of. They were six actually. They were the first batch of firemen who were discharged at the scene.
I see. And those in the hospital, how are they responding? Is it better? I mean, if you compare from how it happened earlier this morning, are they better off?
They are responding to treatment, but some of them might have to stay in the hospital for days. And then the senior medical doctor at the Pure Cancer Regional Hospital, Dr. Richard Anthony, also said that some of them might need counseling because psychologically they are affected by all this. And also we have students from OIC, senior high school, and then Pompe who were also affected by the explosion.
Okay. All right, thank you, Ina Thalia. I would expect some more updates in our subsequent bulletin. Ina Thalia is with our affiliate Radio Max in the Western region, bringing us up to speed on those who were injured earlier this morning in that unfortunate gas explosion.